Imagine a world where you could cut off the time and get that shiny new PB. It would feel great. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you just how to get there in 2 simple steps. And strangely, it involves one of these. Now, there is a lot of confusion around strength training and running at the same time. People always say you can't build muscle if you want to run fast. So do they actually mix together? Well, the quick answer is yes, but not how you might think. There is so much more that you need to know before we can give a simple one-word answer like that. Today, I'm going to explain how this whole thing works, and I'll include a free 1-month plan, so stick around for that. But in order to use this plan, you need to understand why it works. So first, let's define strength. The strength of an athlete is found by measuring how much work they can perform. In strength sports, the work might be squatting 100 kilos. If 2 athletes can each squat 100 kilos, they're equally strong. If only one can squat 60 kilos, they are less strong. In endurance sports, the work involves moving your body from one place to another. So a 100 kilo runner who finishes a marathon in 5 hours is just as strong as Kipchoge, a 2:01 marathon runner. Since the heavier runner has moved a bigger body weight over the marathon distance, he's technically stronger. However, there is a more fair way to measure endurance performance, and this is by using power. Power is different to strength. It's the amount of work performed per unit of time. In simple terms, it's how much weight is moved across a distance with the time factored in. So when Kipchoge finishes the marathon 3 hours quicker, his save time actually gives him a higher power than the 100 kilo runner despite his smaller size. So how can strength and power help you run faster? Well, let's take a look at this 1997 study which found strength training improvements in running economy. 12 experienced female runners split up into 2 groups where half of them carried out regular endurance training for 10 weeks and the other 6 completed the same endurance training but also did 3 strength sessions per week. The results show that after 10 weeks, upper body strength increased by 24% and lower body strength increased by 34%, which is expected. Now here's the big result. Running economy actually increased by 4%, but only for the group that strength trained. Now you're probably thinking, why is this lad banging on about 4%? That's not a lot. Well, let me show you why it is significant. 4% may sound small, but it corresponds with a 100-second improvement over a 10k distance. This is enough to break the sub 40 mark if your PB is 41:39. So personally for me, a 4% increase is definitely worth considering. Better yet, the exercises used were best for developing general strength rather than running specific strength. Now let's get into why that's important. If the training had moved from general strengthening exercises like squats and calf raises to running specific moves like step-ups and single leg squats, it's likely that the improvement in performance could have been even better. And also, if there had been progression from the slow speed, high resistance movements, again like squats and calf raises, to high speed activity like hops and bounds, the gains in power and performance would have been even greater. Maybe even taking a 43-minute 10k runner down to that sub 40 level. Now if you're a hybrid like me, you'll want a good mix of both exercises, fast and slow and heavy and light. But the reason these running specific exercises work is because they improve power. Improved power usually equates to longer stride length and shorter ground contact time. Increasing stride length by just 1 inch can shorten a marathon by roughly 1,000 meters, allowing a runner to complete a marathon with the same number of steps that would have only got them to 41 kilometers before. This 1,000-meter improvement could reduce the finishing time by 3 to 6 minutes. So how could you add strength training to your own training? Well, there's 2 simple rules that apply when making a hybrid training plan. Number 1 is the volume intensity graph. Number 2 is the exercise progressions. Let's go over exercise progression first, because I only briefly touched on it earlier. Progression doesn't only mean sticking more weight on the bar like we're used to with progressive overload terms. It can also mean making your exercises more specific to the actual sport we're doing, and in this case, it's running. You need both the heavyweight, slow speed exercises like step-ups and single leg squats to build strength, but you also need the lightweight, high speed exercises like hops and bounds to gain more control at higher running speeds. This is how we take advantage of that 4% improved running economy. The second rule involves volume and intensity. Research suggests that when mixing disciplines, in order to reduce fatigue across the week, it's best to start the week with high intensity and lower volume. Then, as the weeks progress, knock the intensity down and shift the volume up. So what would sessions look like over a week? Early in the week, you should prioritise speed work and heavy lifting together. Think intervals and those heavier squats in lower rep zones. As you move towards the end of the week, the intensity should drop, but the volume should increase. This means longer but easier runs and higher reps in the gym, aka more hops and hypertrophy work. This variation helps us to manage fatigue by using different systems at different stages of the week. This gives a chance for one system to recover while the other is trained. Programming your endurance properly around your weight training in the ways I mentioned can get you into the hybrid style of training easily. Just make sure you're following my one secret rule for building endurance, and if you don't know what that is, you should click over here. But if you're still struggling and you need extra guidance, I'll leave that plan for you down in the description. You can find it over there.